The Los Angeles Dodgers traveled to Houston on May 4th and left with an 8-3 victory over the Astros, but the final score was far from the biggest story of the night. What unfolded on the base paths in the second inning became the centerpiece of the entire game, a collision involving Shohei Ohtani and Jose Altuve that had MLB handing out a suspension within hours of the final out. Before getting to that, though, the game itself told a complete story of a Dodgers team operating at an elite level across all three phases: offense, starting pitching, and bullpen. Heading into this matchup, the Dodgers sat at 21-13, a club that had already established itself firmly atop the NL West. A road win against Houston, perennial contender in the AL West, carries a different kind of weight, especially in early May when separation in the standings begins to matter. The Astros came in with enough firepower to make any game competitive, and through the opening inning they proved exactly that. But the Dodgers had answers at every turn, and by the middle innings this one was effectively over. The game opened with 2 quick outs, and for a moment it looked like Astros opener Ohtani had the situation under control. Then the Dodgers lineup woke up. 3 consecutive hits from Will Smith, Oscar Hernandez, and Kyle Tucker put immediate pressure on Houston, and the Dodgers drew first blood with an early RBI. The Astros responded by pulling Ohtani and bringing in Ryan Weiss from the bullpen to stop the bleeding. That early sequence established something important. This Dodgers lineup does not need the bases loaded or a home run to score. They manufactured a run with 2 outs and minimal margin for error, which is the hallmark of a disciplined, well-constructed offensive unit. Weiss managed to limit the damage, but the tone had already been set. Houston did not sit quietly. The Astros responded in the bottom of the first with a disciplined, composed inning of their own. Through a combination of hits, walks, and a Dodgers wild pitch, the Astros did exactly what a quality home team does. They took advantage of every opening given to them. By the time the inning was over, Houston had flipped the scoreboard, going from trailing to leading in a matter of minutes. It set up a genuinely back-and-forth early narrative and reminded everyone watching that this was not going to be a one-sided night, at least not yet. The second inning is where the Dodgers shifted from competitive to dominant. Alex Freeland stepped up and drilled a solo home run to left field, instantly tying the game. The shot showcased excellent pitch recognition and timing. Freeland identified the pitch early, stayed back, and drove it with authority. From there, Shohei Ohtani drew a walk and Freddie Freeman struck out. Then came the play that changed everything. Will Smith ripped a double, and Ohtani, running from first base, scored all the way from first to give the Dodgers a 3-2 lead. The run itself was impressive, but it was what happened on the base paths during that sequence that sent the broadcast, the dugouts, and ultimately the MLB front office into full alert mode. Ohtani was racing home at full speed after his teammates hit when Jose Altuve, playing second base, moved directly into Ohtani's running lane. At full speed, Ohtani had no realistic path to avoid the contact, and the collision happened in plain view of the umpires, the benches, and the thousands of fans inside Minute Maid Park. The initial reaction from casual observers might have been treated as a standard baseball play. Fielders move around the base paths constantly, and contact between runners and defenders is not automatically illegal. But a closer, slow-motion analysis of the play told a different story. Altuve made active contact with Ohtani, not a passive positioning move. He was not in the process of fielding a ball. He was not standing in a legally established position. He moved into the lane, and Ohtani, already committed to his path at full sprint, had nowhere to go. Under MLB rules, obstruction occurs when a fielder impedes the progress of a base runner without being in possession of the ball or in the act of fielding it. Legal blocking requires the defender to either be actively fielding the ball or occupying a legally established position prior to the play developing. Altuve met neither of those conditions. He moved into the lane after the play developed, made contact, and obstructed one of baseball's most valuable players in a game situation. The physical impact on Ohtani was immediate and visible. Ohtani showed signs of leg pain immediately after the contact, and the concern from his coaches was obvious. Medical staff came out to check on him, a moment that quieted the stadium considerably. Ohtani had to be evaluated on the field. The confirmed report that followed provided some relief, no serious injury, and Ohtani was cleared to continue playing. But the significance of that moment cannot be understated. Ohtani is a two-way player. He pitches and hits at the highest level simultaneously. Any injury that compromises either his arm or his legs has cascading consequences for the Dodgers' entire roster construction and season planning. The fact that he walked away without a serious injury was fortunate, but the play itself demanded a response. MLB reviewed the footage and the umpire's report following the game. The ruling came swiftly, illegal obstruction confirmed. The league's decision to act quickly and decisively followed. Jose Altuve was suspended 2 games for the play. The response from analysts and former players was broadly consistent. The suspension was the correct call, and Altuve's movement into the lane crossed the line between competitive baseball and a play that endangered another player. What this episode also signals is MLB's ongoing commitment to protecting its players on the base paths. Obstruction calls have historically been under-enforced at the major league level, with umpires often giving fielders the benefit of the doubt on borderline situations. The speed and severity of the league's response here, a 2-game suspension handed down within hours, sends a message that the standard for what constitutes illegal obstruction is being taken seriously. With the controversy still reverberating through the stadium, the Dodgers' offense came back out in the third inning and removed any remaining doubt about the outcome. Kyle Tucker got things started with a solo home run over the right field wall, and that shot began the unraveling of Ryan Weiss. The Dodgers kept the pressure relentless. Andy Page followed with a single, keeping the inning alive. Then Hwang Kim and Alex Freeland hit consecutively, loading the bases and putting Weiss in an impossible situation. Shohei Ohtani, despite the physical toll of the earlier collision, came up and worked a ground ball RBI, situational hitting at its finest. No home run needed, just smart, professional execution. Then Freddie Freeman delivered an RBI hit that scored Hwang Kim from third, and just like that, the score ballooned to 7-2. By the time the third inning was complete, the game was effectively over. 7 runs through 3 innings against a bullpen team is a mountain no club climbs easily, and the Astros, despite their talent, were never able to mount a realistic response after that frame. The Dodgers added an insurance run in the 5th inning to push their lead to its final margin. Alex Freeland reached base again, a consistent theme throughout the entire game, and Ohtani drew yet another walk, continuing to apply pressure even in a game where he went hitless. Freddie Freeman came through once more with an RBI single, pushing the score to 8-2 and putting the game completely out of reach. The Astros got one back in the bottom of the 5th when Cole hit a solo home run, cutting the deficit to 8-3. But the math was never close, and the game flow never gave Houston a realistic window. The final score, Dodgers 8, Astros 3, reflected a complete performance from start to finish. While the offense generated the headlines and the controversy provided the drama, the foundation of this Dodgers win was built on the mound. Yoshinobu Yamamoto took the ball and delivered a quality start by every measurable standard. Over 6 innings pitched, Yamamoto allowed 5 hits, gave up 3 runs, and punched out 8 batters. His pitch mix, characterized by sharp velocity combined with significant horizontal and vertical movement, kept the Astros lineup off balance throughout his entire outing. He was not untouchable, but he was consistently competitive, limiting damage in high-leverage situations and giving his offense every opportunity to build on its early runs. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings is not a lucky afternoon. It reflects elite command and the ability to put hitters away in 2-strike counts, which is one of the most important skills a starting pitcher can possess at the major league level. The Dodgers bullpen took over from there and shut Houston down completely across the final 3 innings, allowing only 1 hit and 0 runs. That kind of late-inning performance is what separates contending teams from pretenders. When the starter does his job and the bullpen closes the door, opposing offenses get no lifeline regardless of the score. The Astros never got one. Several Dodgers stood out across the stat sheet, but a few names deserve individual recognition. Will Smith posted 3 hits and came up with a key double in the 2nd inning that directly drove an Ohtani from first base. His performance throughout the game was consistent and professional. Alex Freeland matched Smith with 3 hits of his own, added a solo home run, and reached base multiple times across the lineup. He was arguably the most complete offensive contributor in the game. Freddie Freeman delivered multiple RBIs and came through in every clutch situation the Dodgers needed him. His performance in the middle of the order, calm, powerful, consistent, has been a defining feature of this Dodgers team. Kyle Tucker added a solo home run in the 3rd inning that began the offensive avalanche that buried the Astros. And then there was Shohei Ohtani, 0 for 3 at the plate, extending what is now a 5-game hitless streak. The box score looks quiet. The full picture is not. Ohtani drew 2 walks, scored 2 runs, and drove in 1 RBI in a game where he never got a hit. His presence in the lineup forces pitchers to work carefully regardless of his batting average, and the results, walks, runs scored, and situational production, reflect a player who contributes across multiple dimensions even when his bat goes silent. The 5-game hitless streak is a number worth monitoring, but context matters. Ohtani's on-base percentage remains elevated because of his elite pitch recognition and walk rate. He controls at-bats, pressures pitchers, and creates opportunities for Freeman and others even when the hits are not falling. The moment his timing syncs back up, and there is no credible analytical reason to think it will not, his contributions will look even more dominant. The Dodgers improved to 22-13 with this win, maintaining their comfortable position atop the NL West. Through 35 games, they have demonstrated exactly what a complete major league team looks like. An offense that scores in multiple ways, a frontline starter in Yamamoto who delivers quality outings, and a bullpen that converts leads into wins with reliability. The Altuve suspension reinforces that MLB is taking base path safety seriously at the enforcement level, not just in policy language. That matters for every player who runs the bases, but it matters especially for a player of Ohtani's physical complexity and value. Freeman's continued emergence as the Dodgers' clutch performer in the middle of the order is a storyline that deserves more attention than it typically receives. He is not just filling the lineup card, he is delivering in the moments that define whether a game stays competitive or gets out of hand. And Ohtani's health remains the most important ongoing storyline surrounding this team. He walked away from the Altuve collision without a serious injury, and that outcome was both fortunate and consequential. The Dodgers are built to win, but they are built to win with Ohtani healthy and participating at full capacity. Any change to that equation changes the calculus entirely. Ominent, the Dodgers win 8-3. Yamamoto as DN is locked in. The offense scores from multiple spots in the lineup, and the entire baseball world spent the hours after the final out watching replay after replay of a collision that ended with a 2-game suspension and a reminder that even in a sport built on physical competition, there are lines that cannot be crossed.